Hello my dear ones. So here is the tutorial how to make this beautiful bracelet with charms. To start with, you will need components, which are glass beads of 8mm diameter. I put 6, but it really depends on the size of your wrist how many you will need. Those are the main ones, which are here. And in between, we're going to attach smaller beads. These ones are 6mm diameter. I chose they are a combination of the plastic and glass beads, but you can choose all glass beads, or you can basically create your own combination. So apart from beads, you will need T-pins, and T-pins we will need for charms, the hanging elements of it. And you will also need in total 80cm wire of 0.8mm. So basically it's a bit less than 1 centimeter diameter. You will also need a clasp, a sizing chain, and links, or in other words they call them jump rings, and you will see why very shortly. Also we have some decoration balls. They are very small, they are 4mm diameter. Okay, so I'm going to guide you step by step. You will also need tools, big plier, nose plier, cutters. You will need flat pliers and round pliers. All right, so those ones are our main tools we're going to work with, and those will be enough. So next, to start your bracelet, we will deal first with the centerpieces, which are the beads of 8mm diameter. Now, using the wire of 0.8mm, we're going to use the plier, starting with a flat plier, this one. And first we're going to bend it, the wire 90 degrees with a little bit of extra first stepping 2mm, and then bend it 90 degrees using your thumb and pliers, so 2 hands working at the same time. So once you have this angle, then we're ready to create a loop using round pliers, so like so. So you can see that I am moving opposite way from the bending, okay, like so. All right, make sure there's no space, and then once you're done, you're ready to insert the bead. Once you insert the bead, okay, like that, then what we need to do is we have to make a loop and do a little wrapping around. Maybe better if we just put some decoration ball first before inserting the bead. I'm sorry, like so. That will give a little spark. That will be much better this way. Okay, so now we're ready. What you need to do is then you have to use round pliers to create a loop. This loop is going to be larger than the one we made. That means that you have to move the wire in the middle of the pliers, not in the very end. Yeah, so once you have that larger loop, okay, before turning it all around, we need to switch to the flat plier. Once you switch the flat plier very gently without pressing too much, but yet to be firm, I'm fixing it with one hand, and with the other hand I'm going to start wrapping around like so. 1, 2, and 3. You don't need to do more than that, otherwise it will become very overwhelming of the wire to be around the bead. So with the cutters pointing inside, I'm going to cut it like so, and then with the big pliers I'm going to create a little angle like that, and then close it. Why I did it? Because you don't want anything to disturb or scratch or anything like that. So basically it's kind of hiding it, right? So now we have one of 6 beads that we need of the big ones for our bracelet. So once you've done it, I'm going to make sure that 2 loops are perpendicular to each other. For that, I'm using 2 pliers and then creating a cross like that. Double check everything is in place, double check with the finger nothing is catching, and your bead is ready. And like those ones, we need to make 6 of them. I'm going to show you one more time, and then I'm going to make all of them before I show you next step. Okay, again, we take flat pliers, step a bit of 2 millimeters before you make an angle of 9, very firm, very important that it's a strict 90-degree angle. Okay, then switch pliers to round pliers like so, and then slowly, step by step, making a loop, not at once, but very small baby steps, so that it will end up like this. Okay, very perfect round hook. Once you've done it, we then insert the decoration bead. My second choice is imitation of the pearl, like so. Then I switch to round pliers, create a loop, and that loop is bigger than the first one on the opposite side, which is in the middle, wrapping around the middle of the round pliers. Okay, then fix with flat pliers before I start wrapping around about 3 times. 1, 2, firmly, and 3, like so. Now we have a very nice spiral. Make sure that it goes along and not above it, because then you're not gonna end up with this beautiful spiral, but just something else, not what you desired. Yep, then cut. So that end, you need to bend the wire like so, and then with the thin flat pliers, narrow ones, to hide it so that nothing is gonna bother you once you will be wearing the bracelet. Once you've done that part, with 2 pliers, I'm going to create a cross, make sure the loops are perpendicular. So now I have this 2 main beads which will be then assembled together. Alright, so I'm going to complete this part and then get back to you for the smaller beads. Now I chose a similar color, a bit lighter, that will go in between our main 8mm beads with the combination of the gold ones or golden ones, 8mm. So I'm going to make 3 of them of the light green and 3 of them of the gold one. So how do? We do them differently. This time it's simpler procedure, and we're starting in the same way, which is the flat plier, using flat plier, step, put it inside, insert, step about out about 2mm, but before bending, use 2 hands, your thumb and the plier, creating angle 90°. Then switch to round pliers, and then very slowly catching the very tip, baby steps, step by step, we're going to create a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see how my hand is moving. I'm using the movement of my wrist together with the hand, right? So once you complete it, you insert the smaller bead, 6mm diameter, and then on the other hand we do the same thing. So now I'm going to bend it like so, step 2mm, so then I will have this tail of approximately 1 centimeter, which is 9mm, but 1 centimeter is fine. Once you have it, then I'm going to do the same, which is creating the loop by using round pliers. 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. Okay. And then using 2 flat pliers, I'm going to do the same procedure, which is creating a cross, making sure that they are perpendicular loops. And the same procedure I'm going to do with the rest of them, and then get back to you. It's time to put them together. So what I'm going to do is, so you can see we have this little spiral, and I'm going to keep that in one direction. Why? Because that would be then much more, it will have a perfect logic to put down charms on the side. Okay, so on the mat that you're going to have, I'm going to distribute them first, which is in my case green, and then pearl, and then green and pearl, and in between we also have here a green and the gold. So this distribution then will give me a perfect sense of the order, how I want to do that, and that is my choice, and you will choose yours. Okay, now I'm ready to assemble it together. How I do that? Very simple. So first I'm going to open by lifting it up a little bit. We're not opening like this, we're lifting it up, then inserting the loop of the bigger one, and then by just pushing it down, closing. Make sure that there is no open space anywhere, otherwise you might lose your bracelet very easily. So once I've done that, I'm going to the next one, and you can see here the loop is closed, it cannot be open, but from the other one we can, and that's what I'm going to do by opening again, lifting it up, the open part of the loop, inserting it like so, and pushing it back where it was, and so on and so forth. I'm going to do this with the rest. Once I'm done it, I complete it, then I will show you the next step. Once you assemble it together, you already have yourself beautiful bracelet that needs to be added a clasp, a sizing chain, and the charm. Okay, at this point, if you don't like or you don't want to have any hanging charms, that still will work. Let me first show you how to do that. Attach the clasp and the sizing chain. We have these little hooks or links, or in other words, jump rings, that we will need to attach a lobster and sizing chain. Okay, so what we need to do is, with 2 flat pliers, we're going to twist again, twist, not open. Okay, and the smaller one attached, insert inside, and then insert the lobster, and thereby twisting again until it falls into place. Make sure no space, and then here, which is also that loop, is actually a hook for the bracelet, but to make it more convenient, we're going to add a sizing chain, and for that we're going to use again a jump ring, twist it like so, insert the loop, insert the sizing chain, 4 centimeters long, and then by twisting it back, attach it. So now we have this sizing chain, which is just hanging like this, right? But I always like to add a little charm, so that will be quite nice, aesthetically beautiful. For that, you will need a T-pin. T-pin is stopping from the bead to fall. Insert the bead, which is 6 millimeters in this case, 4 millimeter small bead. Okay, and then the same procedure. What do we do? We're just going to bend it 90 degrees using 2 hands, then stop about 2 millimeters before cutting. Always try to hold it, like I'm using my 2 fingers, but you can just point the table so it doesn't fly up. And then using round pliers again, with baby steps, slowly, slowly, we're going to start creating that loop. Make sure no space, just like we did with our bracelet. And then using narrow flat pliers or big nose pliers, again we do twisting, insert into the sizing chain like so, and then closing it, no space. All right, once you've done it, so basically now you can wear it and close your bracelet. So this sizing chain also can be very useful by holding it in your hand while you are closing your bracelet, if you are doing it by yourself. Yeah, so basically that's what I'm going to do. Hold it like so, and it's free, but not too tight on my hand, but not falling either. So next step is to attach charms on the bigger loops, which is coming from the big bead. I just placed those smaller ones, 6mm diameter beads, on each side on the side of the loop in a zigzag manner first, before, just for me to understand before I start to assemble it. So how do I create the charms? By using the T-pin. So that T-pin will help me. First I'm going to insert the bead, then close it with a small decoration ball, then bend it again. This can be a little bit tricky because you have to really have a good control with two hands, two fingers. This one is pressing to create that 90-degree angle, and then again using this as a measurement, my flat pliers, stepping 2mm. Before cutting, I'm just going to hold it like so, so it ends up in my hand, and then with round pliers start to roll backwards using very tip of the plier, round plier, so that it will create very nice and small loop. So once you've done that, then you go ahead and do the same thing with the rest of the beads before assembling it together. I'm going to show you one more time. I'm placing a smaller bead and then a small decoration bead here, using flat pliers, bending it, creating 90-degree like so, cutters, 2 centimeters step aside, cut, and then use round pliers to create a loop. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 baby steps you will need. Make sure it's very tight and close. If it's twisted, you just need to adjust a little bit with flat pliers, and then same thing do with the rest. Also, what you can do in a process, I always advise to create a system like a conveyor system, where instead of doing one by one operation from A to Z, we're just basically making it every step for all. In that case, the process is much easier for you, and you will make it faster, right? So basically, first what I do is I just put all the beads inside of the T pin together with decoration ball. Done. Next, I'm going to bend all 90-degree. 1, for example, 1, and then 2, and then 3, and 4. 2 I already did, so I still have 4 to do. So now I'm going to do the same procedure, conveyor system, by cutting one by one, and the next. Okay, 2. Okay, 3. And 4. So once I'm done, I have them almost done. I only need now to use round pliers to start creating a loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. Next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes they twist it, and sometimes they kind of like you arrive to that finish line too early. That's fine. You can adjust it slowly, and I really suggest not to be too in hurry. Okay, take your time, especially if you're doing it for the first time. There's no reason to rush the process. Okay, same thing here, and done. So once I'm done, I need to analyze and see, now we have these loops, and from each side I'm going to just from one side in a zigzag manner, right? So this one goes here, and this one goes here, this one goes here, this one goes here. So I'm just going to take one by one, again with the flat pliers, finding that area, the open end, twisting, lifting up slowly, inserting, and then pushing it down, closing it. Then you observe it, say, I want it to be on this side, on the opposite side. Then you just lift up, observe it, and then say, here on this side I want to, so that it will be like a zigzag instead of being on one side only. Okay, so now they are on the opposite sides, and the same thing I'm going to do with the rest. So here we go again. This one is going on this side here. Going to do that and then complete it. To wrap up the tutorial, what did we use? We used one clasp, one sizing chain, beads of 8mm diameter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, beads of different materials and shapes. We used 6mm diameter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But if you're going to put another additional ones, 13 plus another 6 is going to be 19 beads. Yeah. Right, the wire, I said 80 centimeters, but actually I ended up with extra wire. I did not need 30 centimeters, so basically it's not 80, maximum 50 centimeter length you will need of the wire, 0.8 millimeter. T-pins, sizing chain of 4 centimeters, small decoration bead for the small ones and the big ones as well. And those small decoration beads you will need 6 plus 6, so basically 12, because the ones in between they don't need it, right? But anyways, you will have it. You will have it more than enough, an extra. Okay, so basically with a very few components that we have, you can create a very beautiful collection for yourself. Enjoy it, and thank you so much.